I never thought a weekend trip would change my life. We were in Orlando, going to my husband's friend's retirement party, celebrating, relaxing, but by the end of it, I'd be crawling through dirt, screaming for help, realizing that sometimes the people closest to you won't even believe you. We planned a 3-day trip to Orlando for this retirement party, a little mini getaway, and the first day was perfect. We had a wonderful, wonderful time. Day 2 started off beautifully. We went to the retirement ceremony, and then we went to a lovely dinner with the retiree's family at a winery. It was beautiful. And that's where I met her, the retiree's girlfriend. He didn't introduce us to her, which we felt was kind of odd, but we just chalked it up to maybe it wasn't as serious, so he didn't feel the need to introduce us to her, but it felt weird. So if you know me, you know I'm the kind of person that is just friendly and outgoing, so I introduced myself to her. I said, "Are you so and so's lady?" And she says, "Yeah, am I your lady?" Like she was kind of trying to play off his hesitation. So I just reached in, gave her a hug, introduced myself. I'm a hugger. If you know me, you know I'm a hugger. That's just how I am. She hugged me back, and there was a time where, before this incident, that when I would hug someone, I felt that you could tell a lot about somebody the way they hugged you. I no longer feel that way. I didn't know who I was dealing with. Later, we were invited to the retiree's home for some drinks and just fun and food and, to continue the celebration, which we did. We went, and for the first few hours, everything was really, really fun, really great. The girlfriend, invites me downstairs. We have a drink. After that is when things get fuzzy. She kind of grabs my hand like, "Hey, you want to run an errand with me? I have somewhere to go. You want to ride with me?" So I'm like, "Sure." I didn't think anything of it. It was late at night, but I didn't think anything of it. Also, like I said, everybody was drinking. We were having a good time. I didn't think anything of it. What I didn't realize is that as I got into the car, I started not remembering what was happening. My memory was just kind of shoddy, like I was disoriented even more and more and more. So we pull up to this house, and I just remember being in the house. I don't remember getting out the truck. I don't remember walking into the house. I just remember being in the house. And I remember initially not feeling like I was in any danger. I just felt disoriented, kind of like unsteady on my feet. Now it's late, it's dark. I'm in a city that I don't know, in a neighborhood that I don't know. Once we get in the house and she locks the door, her whole demeanor changed, almost like a cat that caught a mouse in a trap. It's just like her whole demeanor just changed. She started whispering, talking in code and whispering to the men that were inside the house. And the things they were talking about led me to believe they were talking about me, and they were talking about keeping me there and doing things with me. The first thing that came to my mind was, these people are getting ready to traffic me. Now, keep in mind, I'm still very disoriented, but I'm a very vigilant person as far as like I believe in discernment. I believe in listening to your gut. I believe what you see. And I'm not like a scary type person. I go to sleep to the ID channel. I'm someone who tries to be very aware of my surroundings. And the only reason I went with this girl is because we spent the whole day together. And nothing gave me the inclination that anything like this would happen. Next thing, my phone's missing. She took my phone. I didn't realize this till later when I was trying to leave. And I said to her, "I'm ready to go. I want to go home to the house where we were, the retiree's house." And she laughed, and then they all started laughing. It reminded me of, if you've ever seen the movie Witches, and you remember when they were in the conference, when all the witches start pulling off their mask, and then just like, like they just were like laughing at me. And she's like, "Oh, you're not going home." And then everyone in the back just started laughing. I was trying to like get my eyes to focus and find the door. I didn't tell them what I was doing. I just got up, ran to the door, unlocked it, and ran out. I knew I was in danger. I ran as fast as I could. Now I'm in a dress and I'm in slides, like sandals with no back on them, just slides. And it's dark outside. And like I said, I'm in a neighborhood that I don't know. If you know me, you know when I stand, my knees buckle back. So like I stand kind of like my knees buckle back. Like they used to call it bow leg back in the day, but I'm not bow leg. It's just my knees kind of hyperextend backwards when I stand. So as I'm running, I must have hit something in the ground. My knee buckled back and I fell to the ground. Now, as I'm running, I'm screaming, help, help, help. I'm not just like running through a neighborhood quiet. I'm yelling, I'm screaming. I'm running through this neighborhood. Once I fall, all I could think to do was crawl. I'm crawling on the ground, dirt in my mouth, dirt in my face. My bruises are healing now, but if you see here, I'll show you, and there's another one here. You see it on my arm. I'll show you different pictures, but you'll see it if you look at the other video. I'll pin it. You can see how bad it was. I had dirt in my mouth to the next day, crunching on dirt. I was all on my chest. I was dragging myself because I just didn't want anyone to catch me. I was trying to get away. I try and get into someone's house. I tried to pull the screen off this house, couldn't get in, and then I just kept trying to drag myself. At some point, I couldn't move anymore. I didn't know my leg was broke. I just knew I couldn't move my leg. So I just sit up on the ground. Instead of saying, help, help, I said,
Where's my husband?
Come on, Vicky, we're going back to him now.
Fire!
Vicky.
fire, fire, because I had heard somewhere or read or video or something that said if you're ever in trouble, yell fire instead of help, because sometimes people, when they yell help, people don't listen. And so they listen more when you yell fire. So I'm screaming there, and that's what you hear in the video that I posted before, is I'm just screaming fire, fire. Now, mind you, in that video, that's her recording me. And if you see, she stops right before she gets up to me. Why would she do that? Why is she recording me, first of all? And why isn't she using that same phone to call for help? Finally, my husband shows up because her man, the retiree, pinged her phone and found her location, and they showed up. Unfortunately, when my husband got to me, he was upset with me. And I get it. He was scared. He didn't know what happened. He didn't know that I left. I didn't tell him I left. She didn't tell her man she left. She borrowed her man's truck, and he didn't know. He yelled at her for borrowing his truck. That's another red flag. Why did she use his truck and not her car? Because she didn't want, number one, probably DNA, my DNA in her car, and she probably didn't want to be seen with me in her car to trace me back to her. Supposedly, she never drives his truck. Just that night, she happened to take his truck. Now back to my man. He was upset that he didn't know I left, but when I left, like I said, I was disoriented, so I didn't even think, like, I thought we would just go somewhere real quick and come back. I didn't even think to say, like, oh, I'm going to run to the store or whatever with her. I didn't even think about it. And so I get it. I get being upset. But he didn't believe me. He didn't believe that they were trying to traffic me. He didn't believe my story. Now, this is somebody I've been with all my life. Since I was 15 years old. He offered me no comfort. No compassion. And that added a significant amount of trauma to what it was already traumatic. Later, after going through things, he apologized and realized that what I was saying was true. Unfortunately, that for me came a little too late. I'm not sharing this to throw anybody under the bus. I'm not sharing this to make anyone feel bad or sad for me. I'm sharing this because I want to bring awareness. This is not something that I would have ever thought would have ever happened to me, but the fact that I listened to my gut and I got out of there. And when you feel you're in a situation where things don't feel right, get out of there. For me, not only am I dealing with a broken leg that I have to have surgery on, that's the physical part, but the mental part of knowing that in my time of need. The person who should have just protected me stood kind of on the sidelines and blamed me, questioned me, invalidated my feelings, my experience. So, in addition to my physical pain and journey of healing, I have a mental journey. I start therapy on Friday. I'm rebuilding my spirit one day at a time. As far as my marriage goes, I can't think about that right now. I'm working on me. I'm pouring everything I have into my writing. I've written like 5 books in the last week. Books of things that I've already kind of had lingering around. And now that I'm stuck in a bed pretty much 90% of the day, I have the time to do it. So you'll see those things coming out. And right now I'm just focusing on me, getting better physically, getting better mentally, spiritually, and being thankful that I got a chance to come back home to my babies. I held my tears in for the most part because my main thing was when I wanted to get home to see my children. And when I did, because I didn't tell them what happened until we got home. And when I did, I saw my daughter, I hugged her, and I just broke down. Because the only thing I wanted to do, I just wanted to get home to my children. I realized that I don't need validation, or I don't need anyone to believe me. I believe me, and I especially don't need validation from someone or anyone who doesn't show up when I'm in need. So right now I'm just taking things day by day and continuing to get stronger physically and mentally, and spread awareness, shed a little light on how things can take a turn really quick. And it's important that you listen to your gut, pay attention to your surroundings, and if something doesn't feel right, get out of there. It's not right. And just because somebody doesn't believe your story doesn't make it untrue. If it was real for you and true for you, then it was real for you and true for you. And that's just something to think about. God bless.